All right, pleasant good evening. We're here at the Waco ISD Stadium right before the last game of the 2022 TAPPS Football Championships. And it's kind of our mid-year check with Executive Director Bryan Bunselmeyer. We had a chance to visit at TAPPSCon and here in Waco back in June and get a chance to kind of check in with you. How's the weekend gone?
You know, it's been great. It's been fun to have new teams, new blood, people that have never been here before, and seeing the excitement in those fan bases and in the kids. But, you know, it's also good to be in this stadium, Waco ISD. This stadium's made for football. I know some coaches like a track behind them and some don't. I think it's fun to have the fans right behind you.
Yeah, I haven't been down on the field, but it was looking like it's kind of, it's kind of comfy.
It is.
Down there.
It is. I'll tell you, we used to play soccer here. And that wall comes up real fast in soccer. It seems like this is an extra step or two that they get when they are not playing with this stadium.
How has the year been so far?
It's been a great year. It started out, it's hard for me to believe because I got cold sitting down there earlier today. It's been a little chilly, but not bad weather for football. But I just remember how unmistakably hot it was when we were here for 6-on-6 and 7-on-7. Back at the end of June, it was 109, 112 degrees. So it's just amazing here in Texas how the weather can change, and you just hope it goes. But it's been a great week. It's been a great year so far. We've had, we got through one-act play without getting scathed. We did some fall band and marching band here. It rained that day, so we went inside. But cross-country, you were there.
Yeah,
one of the biggest meets we've ever had, and very competitive meets this year in a lot of the divisions. So that was excellent. Had some great volleyball. And that was really fun to watch. We did our team tennis and we did our match play golf. So, again, I think it's been a great year. It's been a great start. We're looking forward to turn to the new year, but I got to admit, we're kind of like everybody else in the school setting. When's Christmas break coming? So we're going to get back and kick back a little bit.
Well, one of the things that we hadn't talked about because it hadn't happened yet, but you plugged in Steve Hohulan.
Yep.
Talk about the addition that Steve has been to your team.
So, I laugh when I became executive director. I hired Steve Pregame. It was two wheels on the bicycle, and then Robert Huckabee was able to come on board, so we had a tricycle. Well, now we got all four wheels on the ground. But Steve Hoon's been in TAPPS since '83, and we officially incorporated as the Double P parochial and private schools in '78. So he only gaps about 5 years, and then a few he's gone. So I think it's really good that he knows a lot of the history of TAPPS, probably a lot more than some folks, but he's also seen the growth, and what an encouragement. And, as an athletic director, he's a planner, as you would be as a director. So he's helping us with our education courses. He's helping work with our new ADs. So just an excellent ad. Had a good team. We just made it one better. So.
Yeah, I had the opportunity to meet him for the first time. Well, actually, he was there at TAPPSCon. I just don't remember talking too much about it. What do you got coming up? I know you got cheer coming up immediately.
Yeah, we're setting that floor up for 4 hours tomorrow. So if you get bored, come on by Bell County Expo Center, and we'll put some cheer mats down. But we've got cheer coming up. Then we go back with dance and swim. I'm excited. It looks like our swim numbers are kind of rebounding. We were down a few the last couple of years, but we're back. We're having that exciting time where soccer's going to go back to a Final Four. It's been years ago that we were at Audie and St. Thomas and did that. So it's been a long time since we did the Final Four. We just did the finals, so they'll be back in Round Rock. Excited about that. We're going to do a lacrosse showcase. So we've got 10 of our lacrosse schools on the boys' side and 8 on the girls' side. So lacrosse showcase will be coming back. So excited about that, too.
That's a little bit more numbers than what you had the first go.
A lot of numbers. Last year we only had 4. But funny how when you tell people and they see it actually works, I think a lot of people are waiting to see, did they really do it? But we'll be back in Round Rock for that as well. So very excited. TAPPSCon will be back here before you know it in June. Track will be back here as best we hope. Still trying to work through all the particulars. It's funny how right now you got to sign contracts. We've always had to sign contracts, but now everybody wants a contract and they want to stipulate exactly. And with the economy, they're wanting to make sure the dollars and cents are to a T. So it's a little different challenge this year.
Well, you kind of segue into what you got me to start thinking about. How have the discussions been, the feedback that you've gotten from Waco TPID on the agreement that you all put together for the 3 years, and kind of the numbers that how have things been coming in to their satisfaction, or is there opportunity still to be had there?
There's opportunity to gain, which is exciting. They're excited to have us. We're their third biggest customer. So when you figure Baylor's here in the Magnolia market and we're number 3, that's not too bad. I probably wouldn't pass them in a race anyway, so I'll just let them run on ahead. But I think it's really exciting for us with the TPID group. It's based on hotel motel rooms. We bring a lot of folks. We bring a lot of food and beverage taxes when we come. But I think the best thing that's come about since we signed that agreement is that really all of Waco's kind of gotten behind us. I mean, the hotels are behind us. They want us here. We were founded here, so it's good to be back. Our money's went up a little bit this year. People always ask, what are you going to do with that money? Well, we found Steve O'Hoolin, so some of that money went there.
Right.
But also being able to afford a better facility or buy a few more things to put up or a little different metal or a little different plaque or do the showcases where, to be honest with you, I don't know that there's going to be a big crowd at match play golf.
Right.
So you kind of focus in and say, well, I got to have a little sponsorship money on the side. So those things are really exciting and what that's brought us. So.
Well, I mean, I tried to tweet out, I think within the last week, and say, hey, you're coming to Waco, make sure you let the hotels know. Because,
Yep.
I mean, doing race event production, I mean, I know how that, you go to the city, and, I mean, basically it's T-Pit is just for hot monies. It's
Yep.
the same thing,
Yep.
same principle. But, T-Pit's going to go out to those hotels and say, hey, how many, I mean, because the tax is being paid on every hotel.
Yep.
But they still have to know from the hotel whether or not you specifically were coming in and putting your heads in bids.
That's been the hardest challenge for us. I mean, we can track teams and we can track like officials' rooms and whatever. I think if our parents would just do a little bit better and say, "Hey, we're here for TAPPS," even when you're coming to the Magnolia Market, I'm here for TAPPS. All those things, but no, the tracking is good. And I'll be honest with you, we've been coming here. This is the 10th year we've been working towards this agreement. I think that the trust factor is really high. And I think both ways. So they trust us with our rooms, and we trust them. And I like to tell the TPID group, it's an event is the game on the field or on the pitch or on the court. But the event itself is, hey, did I get a hotel room? Did I have to be somewhere I didn't want to? Was I able to eat at a restaurant on time? Did I have to wait in line? Or was I able to go shopping at Magnolia, whatever it is? And I think that's one of the things that Waco TPID and Waco CVB have really tried to help us with is making it an event so that when mom and dad and little brother or little sister come in, there's something to do there too.
Exactly. Well, like I said, I mean, having been in the race production, I mean, I know that game, and I'm trying to whatever we can do to encourage folks to, again, when they check in at the hotel and it's not Marriott or Hilton that's asking, what are you here for, is to tell them, hey, I'm here for the TAPPS State Championship. Opportunities for the organization and some challenges that you're having.
I think the biggest
without obviously.
It's a different coming out of COVID. I think everybody was pumped up and excited to do something.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're kind of getting into a routine of I might not do everything. So I think we're still seeing some participation numbers that have not rebounded out of COVID for whatever reason. I don't know that everybody wants to sing in the choir. That seemed to be a big deal with the COVID, the particulate matter in the air and this, that, and the other. And, flu season has hit some folks really hard already. And it's been a while since, I guess it's been the swine flu was the one that almost took out state track that one year. It's been a while since I think we had a really tough flu season here in Texas, but I'm not so sure we're not in the midst of one right now. And I'll be honest with you, the other thing that seems to be hitting is, the economy. Texas has a very robust economy, but at the same time, prices are going up.
Yeah.
A hotel room you might be able to get for $109 is $159 or $169. We were looking at our hospitality bill for here; it's tripled.
Wow.
And so, but if you got the press here, you got to feed you. So I mean, it's like it might be Bush's chicken, but it's we like Bush's chicken. So, but no, those are some of the challenges that are coming. And I will tell you, it's and you and I talked about volleyball. You've got some schools districts that after the unfortunate things that have happened at schools over the last few years, they don't want outside people to come in until their students are gone, which is why a facility like this that's standalone makes so much sense. Mm-hmm. But there's not a lot of standalone. I mean, even down in your country, you got the Merrill Center and the Berry Center and whatever, but those aren't really conducive either for everybody. But at least they're standalone and you can get in. But, I mean, if you've got a gymnasium, we were so thankful that Robinson High School and Waco University High School allowed us to come in for volleyball because they basically said, come on in with our kids. But
right.
And I can understand security-wise if somebody were to say, hey, my kids need to be gone or my elementary kids or whatever. So that's kind of the challenge that we're finding right now is facilities management's probably tightened down a little bit. The money side is there, but the good side is we had several new schools join us this year. They saw some success early. I'm really excited about the competition. Volleyball was very competitive. Cross country was competitive. One-act play was competitive. I'm sure cheer will be. So it'll be loud, but it'll be competitive. But the football games, it's not really the score, but it's just, like I said, the new blood.
Yeah.
I mean, it was fun seeing Fort Bend here. It was fun seeing Fort Worth All Saints here. It really was. I was glad to see Prestonwood back. I mean, I don't remember how long it had been, 5 or 6 years, but they've kind of come back into the mode. And neither one of those were a guarantee. I mean, even Perry said, hey, we had to get here.
Right.
The Division 4 game we just had, it was a great game. Shiner had been here several times, but Lubbock was kind of making a comeback from 3 or 4 years ago after dropping down to Division 4. But the six-man idea, our six-man is a little different. The UIL, its schools mainly in West Texas or in smaller communities that are losing people.
Right.
Six-man for us seems to be a starter program. I really want football, so I can start with six-man and then hopefully build to 11. That's kind of always been our hope, is you'll start 6 and go 11. And we've got some pretty big six-man programs that might need to make that step and say, I got a lot of bodies over here on the side, I need to move up. But that's exciting for me.
Yeah, and I think we saw, 2 schools in the Division I game that, you started counting the numbers on the sidelines. And, Dan has coached many games as a high school football coach, and he goes, I coach a lot of 11-man games with a couple less kids than what they had on the sidelines. But, every school's got to make a decision that's good for them. I mean, some schools out there that, they don't want to play football, but they want to do flag, and that's okay. If that's what's good for their school and their kids and their parents, fantastic. They're active out there doing something.
I think the hard part when you look at those schools, though, is there's a lot of kids out there that could wear the number 3 or 10 or 22. There ain't a lot of 65s and 72s that are going to sit there. And one of the things I think going 6-man to 11-man, I thought about this a long time. I've had 10, 11 years now to think about it in charge. When you're playing 6-man, everybody's active. And they threw some dump passes all 3 games to the center. Everybody's active. Everybody plays. Being an offensive lineman is a calling. Defense, at least you get to go attack, and you might get a fumble or a strip sack or whatever. If you're an offensive lineman, you're going to do some work.
Right.
And nobody's going to call your name unless you do something bad, holding or behind, clipping or whatever. But I think that's the number one thing, is that I think 6-man is so appealing to our schools, is it kind of appeals to the kids that are there. And then once I was so proud of John Bronkhorst and the Braunfels Christians stepping up, and Alpha Omega making that look, and it fits them. And a couple of years ago we had Texas School for the Deaf, and we had Lone Star, the 2 high schools, drop down.
Right.
That had been traditionally 11-man, but they saw that 6-man, I can get all my kids in, I can get them involved, and if I had 18 kids, at least I can play 12 and be playing. So
well, and you had San Marcos Academy.
San Marcos Academy dropped down.
Same thing, Yep. Been around since 1900.
They were a founding member of TAPPS, and they were one of the first 4 that played in the championship. So that was long time back, and it was good to see them here. I mean, and Laredo St. Augustine started 6-man a couple of years back, and Corpus Christi Incarnate Word, another big 4A. It has been a 5A in the past. One that never played football.
Right.
But both of those schools in the last 3 years decided we're going to play some football.
Well, and I think I saw that they, at the end of the year, that Incarnate Word actually played St. Augustine
Yes.
for the very first game.
Yep.
Yeah.
They did. And, even Bethesda Christian up in Fort Worth, they had 20-something kids. I think they went from transition from fall soccer to 6-man football. Mm-hmm. I'm not so sure they all got the message. So there were probably a few on the sideline going, Coach, when do we kick the ball? But it was okay. But they played hard. They finished the year. So it's great, though.
No, and that's what makes it fun for us. I mean, it's being out there and supporting kids and coaches and programs, and that's why it's a passion for Dan and Dave and I to do what we do, and we just we've had many conversations. Do as much as we can do, and do it as well as we can, and have fun doing it, because it's just the right thing to do.
My life's been made a lot easier by John Skees, our media director, and he really takes a lot of the burden off of us, but he's trying so hard, just like you are. It doesn't matter, ABC school or ABC conference, just seeing the kids live out their dreams.
Yeah.
And I'm still old school enough that when I was in high school and junior high, I changed the length of my pants, or I had sleeves or no sleeves. I played every sport. I wasn't any good at half of them, but I tried them all. I mean, I'm 6'10". Bowling was not going to be my career, but I tried it. I tried it really hard. But when you look at it, and by giving opportunity, and the celebrating, I laugh because I'm a track coach at heart. I love that you can run a half second faster and have a PR. Mm-hmm. That's something you've never done before in your life. You can jump a half-inch higher or a half-inch farther or throw a foot farther than you've ever thrown before legally, because sometimes, that scratch they want to count as their PR. But to do something and encourage a young person or a mature person to do something never done before, that is such an encouraging thing in a world that is I don't know, everybody wants you to just say, did you win or not?
Yeah.
Well, you win by participating. You win by giving your best. And Dr. Robert Huckabee, our Director of Compliance, we were sitting there talking at my desk the other day, and it came to my mind, and it came to his about the same time. Where in the world do you get to learn how to fail? Because in the real world, in our job worlds, in our working world, if you fail, you're gone.
Right.
If you're in the military or the police and all of our first responders and you fail, something bad is going to happen to somebody. But you can go out here on the athletic field, you can give 100% of your ability, and you may not win, but you're not a failure. You're a success because you put on the uniform.
Yep.
And being a part of the team. I mean, I think that's with you guys here. We've continued to build our relationship and go forward. I think with everything we're trying to do to raise the level, raise the bar. And I love public schools. I'm a child of public school. I don't speak against them.
So am I.
But I do know that in today's world, some people don't want to be in the public school. And I'm proud that TAPPS can provide a pretty competitive opportunity. And if you want to do it, we can probably find a way to do it. I'm not so sure about archery and bowling and crew but everybody has their own bent, and I'm proud that we're able to step. I'm proud of lacrosse. I think lacrosse is going to show something. We did our field hockey championships, and for those young ladies, that's what they love to do.
Right.
I couldn't play it, but they love to do that, and I'm glad we provide the opportunity, and y'all helped us cover it, and I think it's just great as we move forward.
Well, I'll tell you what, we've taken up plenty of your time. I know you're busy, and
you're sending me out to the cold, is what you're saying. But get my hand warm.
I want to make sure you get an opportunity to get a little Bush's chicken.
That is it. They brought me a whole chicken, gizzards and livers included, so 2 of everything. So I'll go eat my chicken then.
Bryan, thank you for everything you do for us. We really appreciate it. I'm glad that we can be a part.
Appreciate it. Thank you all for being here.
All right, very good. Bryan Bunselmeyer, Executive Director of TAPPS.